And we are back with another Biz Buzz video segment from the Blank Page to Bestseller podcast. On this video, Colleen, KZ, and myself, Peter, talk about the different types of formats that an author might use when they are publishing their book. We have a few frequently asked questions from some of our clients and some of our listeners, and one of them is an ebook enough to start as an author who is publishing their first book? And in this Biz Buzz segment, Colleen, KZ, and I talk about just that. Is an ebook enough? We cover all of the different formats that an author might think about using when they are publishing their book, but the main ones that we talk about today are ebooks and paperbacks. We also kind of touch a little bit on the different formats that are found in different genres, because that is also a very important factor whether you are deciding if an ebook is enough for your first book. So that's what we talk about for this Biz Buzz segment. As a quick reminder, if you do enjoy these Biz Buzz segments, you can find all of them on the Blank Page to Bestseller podcast, which is on Podbean or wherever else you listen to your podcasts. And if you enjoy these video segments, please be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and then also please leave us a comment. Let us know what you found interesting. Maybe you have a question about what we talked about, and we'd be happy to go back and have another Biz Buzz segment just on those questions. What we really want to do is make these videos for any author, any writer looking to publish their book. So please let us know what you enjoy, and we will be back every week. We are going to have another Biz Buzz video segment from the Blank Page to Bestseller podcast. So please be sure, like I said, to like and subscribe to the channel so that you can get those videos in your feed as soon as they come live. And without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to myself to kick off this Biz Buzz segment. And welcome to this week's Biz Buzz segment on the Blank Page to Bestseller podcast. I'm once again joined by Colleen and KZ for this week's segment, and we are going to talk a little bit about different book formats. Just like last week, I'm going to turn it over to Colleen because she has a few frequently asked questions that we hear from our listeners and the people we work with. So, Colleen, over to you.
Well, thanks, Peter. So I have a question for Peter and Candy. A couple different questions. What are the different formulas or formats someone can use when they are publishing their book? And also, when a new author is just publishing for the first time, is it enough for someone to just start with an ebook? So I'll hand it to you, Peter and Candy.
Well, I'll start off by just letting our listeners know what the different formats of books are. So the different formats mean basically how a reader would consume that book. So you have things like hardcover books, you have paperback books. Those are the two books that everyone knows. You also have ebooks, which are hugely popular today, things like Kindle books. And then the fourth format of books is the audiobook, and the audiobooks have become really big. So I'm sure a lot of our listeners here have heard of Audible, where you can listen to the book that an author writes. So those are the four different formats. You have the hardcover, paperback, ebook, and audiobook formats. I'm going to give it over to KZ to talk a little bit about that second part of the question.
Okay, great. I love that, Peter. That was a great description of what a book format is. It's how the reader consumes the content, consumes the book. I love that. That's perfect. So today, in today's world, the most popular book is the ebook. That's an electronic book. And an ebook can be in many different formats. What we're talking about here today is what would be considered a professional quality ebook. Okay. And that is not going to be necessarily one that you make on your computer using a desktop publishing program. Okay. That is an ebook, and you can create an ebook in that way. However, We're talking today about those that are for sale on Amazon, for sale through Ingram Spark, for sale through, there are dozens of different distributors now for electronic books. The question that Colleen had to do with, is that enough for a new author starting out? And my answer to that is always a guarded no. I believe that it's important when you are coming out with your first book, with your books, that you become visible in as many formats as possible. And that means that you start with an ebook. Yeah, it makes perfect sense to start with an ebook. It is the easiest one to print and publish, okay? Because you don't actually print it. And then at the same time, however, you can literally at the same time, you format your book very, very in just moderate changes in the formatting between the print version and the ebook version. So you simply publish them both at the same time. So you publish an ebook, you publish a paperback. The question really remains is, should you then go on and publish a hardback? And when should you publish an audiobook? And those are questions that are not so much for the novice writers. Those are questions for the writer who has already had a couple of books out, perhaps, okay, and who has a budget to pay for the differences. You will pay more as if you're self-publishing or if you're traditional publishing, it doesn't matter. You pay more to publish a hardback book, and you pay a lot more to publish an audiobook. With an audiobook, you have additional costs for someone to read it. And even if you're not reading it, the formatting on an audiobook, while much easier than it ever has been in previous years, still requires a professional or someone who has experience to get it ready for actual distribution. So I don't want to go into details here, except to say that both a hardback and an audiobook are not your best choice as a beginner, because they take more knowledge and more steps. They add more steps to the publishing process, and they add more cost, okay, to the process for you. So that would be add those in after you've made some sales, okay? However, and every author, in my opinion, should start with both an ebook and a paperback book, because they are almost the same difference when it comes to actually publishing them. Very little difference in the formatting and no difference in the price primarily.
Well, that's a really great overview of what different types of what different types of formats authors should use. I'm going to add just a quick little thing too. Also, if you're not sure what type of format your book should use, look at the genre that you're publishing in.
Oh, yes.
That's a lot of good information out there. For example, if you are a photographer, and you have a big like a coffee table book, there's not a lot of paperback coffee table books out there.
Yeah, that's true, Peter.
There's a lot of good information you could learn just by searching your genre on Amazon.
That is always a great tip. I recommend every author, every prospective author, spend a lot of time on Amazon and in bookstores researching, looking at what the bestsellers are doing, looking at what other writers are doing. Absolutely.
Yeah, and kind of also on that side of things too, like if you look at a lot of romance or genres like that, you have so many ebooks, in that format, but you don't see a lot of hardcover books in that format either, because they're books that people go in and consume quickly and read really quickly and really enjoy. So like just research is very key.
Yes, it is. Absolutely. Always look what the bestsellers are doing, because whatever the bestsellers are doing, there's a reason they hit bestseller.
So true.
And you
So
need to
true.
emulate it. Yep.
Yeah.
Great point, Peter. Thank you.
Yeah, we had some great questions we've had from our listeners, and this was great information you and Peter shared today, Candy. Thanks so much.
You're welcome, as always, Colleen. We have fun doing this, don't we, Peter?
Oh, it's always a great it's a great time because I always learn a few things myself too, or at least refresh a little bit about what I know, as I go through these biz buzzes each week. So I'm glad that our listeners are out there, letting us know what they want to know about because it helps keep us sharp as well. So I do want to then just remind everyone, if you have questions or ideas or thoughts about what you would like to hear on our Biz Buzz segment, or if you know anything about publishing or if you want to know anything else about publishing for a larger discussion too, please be sure to reach out in our comments, send us an email, reach out on our website. There's a lot of different places that you can find us. So please reach out with any questions you might have, and we'd be happy to answer them on a future show.